the time, I was, a pretty stubborn kid. And, I don't have anybody, or I don't let anybody tell me what to do or have anybody say for me to listen. I didn't listen to a lot of people because I had the excuse that I lost my parents as a kid. So there's no authority. Parents were authority. So I was kind of a rebel in my own right. And jokingly, I was like, well, what do you mean another side of being Indian? And he basically showed me the traditional side. He said, let me show you what I know and what I grew up with. He's crashed out at the hotel right now. He's been my driver to get over here. And lives in Fond du Lac Reservation. So I go to Fond du Lac for my ceremonies. His name is Napoleon Ross. And he could see that my choices in my life that I didn't want to be around anymore. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be who I am today. A lot of people look at me and they're like, oh, Mr. Hollywood, acting kind of gets you out of your situation. And it's like, no, acting was a passion I believed in, something I like to do. Because I was still in gangs when I was making movies. I got out of gangs when I was about 23. And the reason why I got out of gangs was because my best friend got caught for a shipment of drugs to Thunder Bay. And if I didn't have this movie, I'd be with him in the car. And for me, that was a decision to show me that, do I want to have a future in Hollywood, or do I want to be a statistic and be that image that people think we are as Indian people? It's funny how people think about us. Now that I travel around the world, we're pretty damn cool. And but one of the things he taught me was about respect of self. So he said, come and see my friends that I work with. And I still didn't understand what he meant. But he slowly taught me that there is a traditional knowledge of respecting yourself. So I went to the house, and there's about 10 Indians laying on the floor. We all know how that is. And he said, don't step over anybody. I want you to walk around everybody. So I did the zigzag around everybody, and at the end he's like, what did you learn? I was like, well, not to step on anybody. And he's like, no, you learn respecting other people. He says, that's what I want to show you. And I thought it was a trick at first, but then I came to learn that one of his friends gave me a little stone that saved my life. And that teaching was the first teaching that I ever learned. And it was to be able to transfer all the emotions of hopelessness and talking to a little pebble stone that's in your hand and putting it somewhere. So it was almost like talking to myself. And eventually I talked myself out of hurting myself. Because that's why I got into gangs, was just to hurt myself and want to hurt other people. So now, here I am, 20 years later, holding a drum. This drum resonates something that clears my mind and my thoughts. I don't think about what I'm going to talk about. I believe that I have an experience that I need to share with people. So for me, when people meet me, they're like, "Oh wow, Adam, you're really, honest about what you speak about." I don't even know it at times. It's just that I speak, whether it's good, whether it's bad. A lot of people like me because I can tell my story in about 5 minutes. I know myself that well. I know my hurts and pains. Part of the reason is because I'm an actor, so I have to know all of that. So when I perform, and you see an emotion, it's coming from something. It's coming from me. It's a character that I'm playing. but all those emotions are mine. So whenever I'm working, because I lost my parents when I was 8 years old, so if I'm having to do a movie where I have to say I miss my mom, like I don't even have to act, that emotion's there. Or I hate my dad. I don't even have to act, it's there. I love them both, but I also hate them both. I always grew up saying it was their fault that they left me alone. I had abandonment issues till I was 28 years old. And that's when I started realizing, you know, I gotta find out who Adam is. Because I realized that I wasn't me, I was a genetic makeup of my parents, trying to make everybody happy. So I took 2 years off to really digest who I was, and when I turned 30 years old, I told myself, you're gonna be Adam Beach. So I'm 39, so I'm really 9 years old. I'm just a little baby. Age. Alright, I'm gonna sing you guys a song.
Did you see the microphone?
I was told when you sing, there's no right way or wrong way, it's your way. Like smoke signals, John Wayne's teeth. John Wayne's teeth. Ring. But at home, drum will sit on my fireplace. I'm letting you guys in on my little lifestyle here. I come home and my drum sits on my fireplace. And, you know, twice a day, I'll walk by it and I'll tap it. There's like a high note or a low note. And I wait until that there's a resonance, there's like this to it. And it's almost like I'm talking to it to really let me know when I'm supposed to use it. And when it hits that resonating sound, that's when I go outside. The